Can you hear me? Hey, Cindy. I was bored. I didn't feel like going in any streams where they were fighting. How you doing? Hey, Brian. Yeah, that's my new name, Bored. Bored with all the fighting. Hi, Evelyn. I'm just staying out of it. When I stay out of it, I'm not attacked. I'm not attacked. How are you guys? I cut my live short this morning, so I thought, I think I will go live tonight. So I am. Here I am. Crazy. But I was bored. Well, I was bored, yes. I was bored. If I belch, it's because I just took some Alka-Seltzer. So I got heartburn. I'm like taking lessons from Rep Ash. She goes on live streams and blah, belches really loud. Mine is like health related though. I know. I've tried that, Brian. It's baking soda is so gross. I do the Alka-Seltzer. That's the thing that works for me. Hey, Samara, my beautiful. How you doing? Yeah, I know it works. The only thing is the taste of it. Ugh. Hi, love you, Samara. I'm just like, I was so bored. I'm like, I slept. Shh, don't tell anybody this. I slept this afternoon. So I missed all that fuckery that went on. And I went over and listened. Oh gosh. Wow. I don't know how people can go live for 6 hours. I can barely go live for 1 hour. I have Ben and Jerry's American Dream. Oh my gosh. Brian, I had ice cream tonight too. That might be why I have heartburn. I think I might be lactose intolerant. Jenny, hello. Hello, my friend. So you guys know that our Joy Lang tested negative, but she's still sick, so she still needs our prayers. She's still very sick. I had Haagen-Dazs Dulce Delish yesterday. Brian, stop teasing me with all this deliciousness. Hi, Remy. I'm bored out of my mind. I had 2 Snickers ice cream bars. That's what happens when you get bored. That's why I wanted to come on. Yeah, because I like gained so much weight. Like actually I haven't. I kind of plateaued. I'm not really gaining anymore. You know how you gain so much weight and then you just kind of plateau and you don't gain, you don't lose. I would kind of like to lose. Hey, Ginger. Ginger, I answered you. I wanted to see your response because I am so curious to to what you said. Just watched a 9/11 video and I couldn't stop crying. Yeah, that's tomorrow, isn't it? The anniversary. I don't even want to think about it. Imagine, guys, 20 years since that happened. I ate fish for dinner with a shit ton of butter, garlic, and herbs. Then came the Snickers. Wow, your stomach's healed. I had a chicken sandwich because I had that. I don't know if you guys remember. I said I bought that roast chicken. Hi, Kyle. Yesterday, so I just cut up a few, took chicken off the bone, just made myself a chicken sandwich. It was good. And my husband had hot chicken sandwiches with gravy. And tomorrow, I don't know. Tomorrow I'm on my own, so I will decide what I'm eating then. How are you, Kyle? Don't see you much anymore. I was at the library on Yahoo Chat because my computer was broke. Oh, goodness, Brian. Brian, that video you showed us yesterday, oh my God. That was, oh, that was sick. I could never do that for a living. Those people those people that clean up that stuff must get a shit ton of money because, like, not everyone could stomach that. Oh, by the way, Brian, I was going to tell you when you have to do that, if you ever have to do that again, Joe Kendall, from the ID channel, says what he does is he puts a shit ton of Vicks, the stuff for your when you have a chest cold or whatever. He puts that under his nose and it masks the smell. So I was talking to a friend about the Gannon case. She told me to go look at things that was dropped today, and the autopsy told me to brace myself. Uh, I don't know if I could. She had been dead for a few days. He had been dead for a few days. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he says to do. I had a scented mask on, but still. He says, yeah, he says to put like a crap load of Vicks under your nose. That's what he used to do when he had to go look at dead bodies and stuff. Because they say, and I don't know if this is true because I've never smelt anything like that, that once you've smelt it, you never get that smell out of your head. You'll always have that smell. You'll always remember that smell. Do you know anything about that person who killed themselves, Brian? A dead body had to clean up a bloody mess. Yeah, that's one job that they should pay you extra to do that. Honestly, that was hard to look at. It was really hard to look at. Gingerlocks, did you answer me? Because I asked, hey Jim, how you doing? Did you answer me back? Because I did answer you. He was a US was that's so sad. That makes me sad. Oh, did you? Hang on, let me look. Because I was so um oh my God. I'm shocked. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Can't say I'm surprised though. Can't say I'm surprised. Cindy, when's the wedding that your daughter's maid of honor at? Do, 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 do. I shut down really quick today, this morning, because I'm boring. Well, nobody was coming in anyways. Usually we sanitize after natural causes death. Yeah, I guess. Still, that would be a hard job to do. It's not so bad. Really? It's because Laura was live too this morning or now? Oh, I am. I know I am. But then I'd rather be boring than be mean. So there's that. Um, oh my gosh, you guys have to go over and watch Two Tacos video. She is Her and Jen are hilarious. Oh my God, they crack me up, those two. They really crack me up. I have had such an itchy nose, like all day, like I've been sneezing and I've got like this scratchy throat. And of course, whenever you get like, now with all this stuff that's going on now, as soon as you get your sneezing and that stuff, the first thing that comes to mind is wonder if I have, the V word. Oh God, no. I don't even like to see myself naked, so no, I would never do that. Nobody deserves that. Not even my husband. I don't like sleeping naked. He does, but I don't. I'm trying to peel my nails off that I had done, and then I'm going to, like, because I'm tired of them. I'm really tired of them. My daughter is officially vaccinated. Hey, Black Dahlia. Oh my gosh. There's a blast from the past. Nice to see you. I'm officially Homeland Security. Oh my gosh. Dahlia, really? You were trying for that job. I remember when you first started trying for that job 2.5 years ago. And you were jumping through hoops to get that job. And then the virus hit and you couldn't get it. Wow. Congratulations. Proud of you. That's amazing. I wonder if there'll be like a tightened security for September 11th. I hope so. That scares me. The 20th anniversary. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I would not be flying anywhere on September 11th. Anywhere, anytime. Although I have in the last 20 years have flown at that time. I think there will be. I think there will be anyways, because it being the 20th. Oh, sure. You coming up? You coming up? Hang on. I think I did this right. I'm on my tablet, so for some reason it has not been working lately at all. Oh, wow. I just scrolled up and saw that you're doing great. Yes. I remember when she was just trying for it. Proud of you. That's just great. That's great to know. It's good to hear people have good news around here. Let me see. Add to stream. Hello.
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 I was
I
just
can't
watching.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear
You're
me.
very, yeah, you were very low.
Oh, hold on. Hold
You're
on.
still very low.
I gotta try. I gotta try my headphones. Hold on. Oh shit.
I don't know
I'll be.
why.
I'll be right back. Let me find them. Be right back.
Oh, okay. Could you guys hear her? Maybe it was me. Hi, Mudmore. How you doing? Um, was it just me, or was it low for you guys too? It was low, very low for me. I could barely hear her. We are very proud of Black Dahlia. We're having a party now. Hey, Joy. How you doing, girl? How are you feeling? I hope better. I know you're going through a tough time. I hope the antibiotics are helping. There's our girl, Joy, who we love and adore. Yes, let us give her prayers. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with my... Yeah, there we go. Hang on. There we go. That's for you, Joy, from me. I was just bored tonight. That's why I'm on even. I love camping. It's so relaxing. I want to glamp, not camp. Hey, monkey's mama. Hope you ate. Oh, hope you are all good, working and listening. I am. I was just bored. Decided to go start a live. Did you guys see my video I put up just before this one?
Can you
If
hear
you
me better?
haven't, yeah, I can hear you better. Before I could barely hear you.
Sorry, headphones problem.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So what's up?
Well, no, I wanted to answer your question about this weekend. And someone else had asked me the same question. And
Okay.
I think, honest to God, from what I've recognized from these crazy, I guess, terrorists that you put together, they like to get you when you're least expecting it. So they're never going to get you when you're kind of maybe,
Expecting it?
prepared or expecting something. They're not going to take you
Mhm.
out then. It seems what I've seen to notice is they tried to get you when you absolutely least expect it. So when are people
Well,
going to expect it?
right.
On an
Well,
anniversary. Absolutely.
absolutely. But still, you said you were watching something earlier.
I
What were you
was. I,
watching?
I, I had to stop. It was called Too Soon.
Oh,
It
okay.
was something that was on Vice. It was a documentary
Mm-hmm.
about which you probably remember, like for a while there, nobody laughed. Nobody laughed about anything. It was like I was in Philly. I worked for a business corporation in Philly, which
Mm-hmm.
just so happened to be across from the tallest building in Philadelphia at the time.
Right.
Now, the towers were hit. We came out. The first tower had already been hit. The first thing in my head, I thought, what a horrible, horrible accident. Because that's where
Right.
my naive head took me at that moment. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as that second plane hit, I knew there. We all. I mean, that's when everyone went, "Oh shit!"
That was
So
no accident.
right, that's when we realized this is no accident. So I remember going into my boss's office, and Peter Jennings was on at the time. This is right before he passed away, and he had said that the plane that crashed in Schwenksville could have been headed towards A, DC, or B, Philadelphia. Well,
Yeah.
that put Philadelphia into a furious panic state, and everybody started rushing out of Philly to try to get home. It just so happened I had a friend with me, and she had a car, and we were underground. And I looked at her, and she started like seriously going into a panic attack. And I looked at her, I said, "We are underground. If there's any place that we want to be at the moment, is underground." And she's like, "I guess you're right. I guess you're right." And I said, "Karen, I know I'm right." I, you know, so then we went out Market Street, and we were going to take Market Street all the way up towards the west side of Philadelphia. Um, as we were leaving, and I've never seen such a thing in my entire life, was a bunch of businessmen and women in suits, ties, dresses, business suits, thumbing it to get out of Philadelphia on Market Street because all the public transportation was shut down. So I can remember, and I think Karen and I looked at each other and went, of course, we got to stop and pick up whoever we can. And we did. And we picked up 3 people we didn't even know. Whoever can fit in, fit in. And it was a small car
Right.
that she had. So we
I think
took the small
everybody,
car and we took everybody back to their train stations. We knew it was going to take us a longer bit of time, but it didn't matter because we knew we were getting people out of the city because we
I think,
didn't know what was going to happen next.
I think everybody remembers where they were when they
Of
found
course.
out.
Of course.
Like
Of
I was
course.
watching the morning show. I was morning watching Good Morning America,
Right.
and
See, when the first tower was hit, I was in a meeting. I had no idea.
yeah, and then then the second plane hit. My boss called me and she goes, "Don't bother coming into work." And I said, okay. So I
See,
sat there and I was fixated, glued on the TV because I'd never seen anything like it. It was just like
mm-mm.
so surreal. It was like, this is not happening, you know?
Now,
It does seem
I
like yesterday.
it literally, I can remember that day as easy as walking in. And it was honestly right above JFK train station where I was working at that time in Philly, which was legitimately right across from Liberty One, which was the biggest. And see, no one knew what they were shooting for. All I saw was that they were trying to hit tall buildings. I had no idea.
Hmm.
Like I had no one knew. And that was
Right.
and I tried to explain because my daughter came home today and she's in 5th grade. And this is the first time she's like, Mom, I came home. I learned a little bit about 9/11. I'm like, oh, she's in 5th grade. I'm like, you did, huh? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, what were you doing? And I started telling her the story. And as I was telling her the story about how we were picking up people, tears just started like coming down my face, not on purpose, just telling the story. It's hard to tell that story and remember it and not feel that panic and scared. And I still feel it every time I tell that story. Um, but I explained to her it didn't matter. If you were a human, you helped a human being. It didn't matter race, color, gender. It didn't. If you were a human being, you all treated each other the same way, and
Right.
that's how. And it really brought out the best in our country. It
It
really
did.
did. It brought out the best, and it's sad that something so horrible is what brings us together. And then you see things like now. I would love to see people come together for this because seeing what's going on in Afghanistan now makes me sick to my stomach after what we've been through for 20 years. And
Unfortunately, I think a lot of people have. Paco is currently sitting on my head, bullying me for a treat. That's why we need more laughter, not bullying, not more bullying on this stupid, you know.
the bullying is bullshit, guys. Like seriously, some of us are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We got past this bullshit when we were in middle school. Didn't you all kind of like either if you were
The
the
name calling
bullier
and stuff
or
like
the
that.
bullyee? No
Yeah.
matter what, you were
Hmm.
bullied in some way. Everybody was, for the most part, unless you were like 3 times the size of everybody else. Everybody has felt insecure, their self esteem brought down.
I
It's
think
the fact.
Brian thinks it's a conspiracy. Brian, don't you think it's a conspiracy? I think Brian
I
said
don't.
he thought,
But
I don't think it's a conspiracy at all.
But do I understand why people do think it's a conspiracy? Yes, I do.
I don't. I don't get it. He has this new game.
Look at what's going on around you right now. Okay.
Okay.
Um, all you gotta do yourself a favor. Do it. Everybody, do yourself a favor. Look and seriously, go on YouTube. Look up Joe Biden, and then go into each video. Look at the thumbs up compared to the thumbs down, people. If that doesn't tell you what's going on, I don't know what will. I really don't. I don't know. Because look at this man. Everyone, he won't even take responsibility. Instead, he tries to sit there and tell that Trump made some kind of deal with the Taliban. Please, Joe, please. And I don't like to get political, and you know that. I don't like to get political. But when it comes to 9/11, the Taliban being in charge and Joe Biden doing nothing, I'm sorry, I get pissed.
Hi,
And
Cam.
it does. It pisses me off. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this, but I'm just
That's
saying
okay. That's
that's
okay.
I guess watching that, I think that's why I looked at my husband and I just went, I've had enough. I can't watch anymore. I can't do it. I can't
Yeah, I
because
know.
I was
I
crying
hear you.
and I just went, I can't. I can't keep doing this to myself, you know. And I do remember that time, and you don't want to forget that, because that was a really shitty time, and that hence is leading us to the place where we are right now, 20 years later, pulling out of something and leaving all of our ammunition, all of our tanks, helicopters, and everything behind. I'm sorry. It just, to me, in my own gut, in my own feeling, like sometimes you get that gut feeling and that gut instinct. And you know
Mhm.
what? We don't know what's really being told. We don't know what's really true because nobody tells us the truth. That's why I stopped watching the news. Um, and you really got to make a judgmental decision by literally watching part of the left and watching part of the right and realizing there's something true in the middle.
Well, what I remember about, and this is going to sound so gross, but I
No.
remember seeing people jumping out of the buildings, and I
And that's
remember
not,
thinking to myself,
and that is not
can
gross.
you
Why is that?
imagine not having to only have the choice in your mind, either you're going to burn to death or you're going to jump. You're going to die either way, but you only are you're taking the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I remember,
and there are quite a few 9/11 documentaries where you have people who are close enough that you can hear that. And that, to
well,
me, that made me sick. That made me sick to my stomach.
yeah, and then the people that were traumatized, from, you know, that were down and were down at the bottom and heard saw the bodies hit the ground from
I
the
can't
top,
even,
you know.
I
I mean,
can't.
that's PTSD. That's how you
Oh,
get
yeah.
PTSD.
And
I can't even imagine.
I'm sure every American has some sort of PTSD from that day. Absolutely. Something that makes them upset, cry, sick to their stomach. And I think every American has some form of it. Whether you were there, you were watching it on TV, or you thought there was a plane coming near you. Whatever it was, you know.
Blue lady. Hang on. Where's her comment? Hang on. Trying to find it.
Oh, Blue Ladybug?
Yeah.
Samara, I see something that she said to Samara. I don't know if that's before or after.
Give you $100 for that wand. I don't know what she's talking about. Which comment? She said
Hi, Two
hello.
Tacos. I didn't even realize she was in
You
here.
didn't know I said
Hi.
hello to her? I was like
I jumped
highlighting
in
her
late
comment.
too. I jumped in really kind of late too. When I was like
Oh
jumped
my
up
gosh.
because I wanted to be like,
Oh, okay.
you, you know, I kind of.
Okay, you're excused.
Thank you.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Cindy says
Go ahead.
this Afghanistan stuff has me on edge. Our youngest daughter is so scared her husband may be get deported in a war.
Oh
She
my
or
God.
deployed in a war. She knows how my oldest son was before he was deployed to Afghanistan and how he is now. Yeah, I I I, I get you.
Um, I have a, well, I shouldn't say he's my cousin. It's my husband's cousin. Her husband is, um, he's in a submarine right off of Afghanistan, but he is safe. He is alive. But he is right off the coast of Afghanistan, and he's in the Marines.
Well, I think we can thank Biden for a lot of this stuff. I know I'm not political, but I think
I'm
he's screwed
sorry
up
if
this
anybody,
country.
and I'm sorry, and I understand people voted for Biden, but please do yourself a favor. Look up Joe Biden on YouTube. Go through each freaking video and look at the thumbs up and the thumbs down on what people are thinking about the choices that this administration is taking.
Right.
That's all you got to do. All you got to do is look at the thumbs up and thumbs down. And I
I'm
don't
so
think,
sorry, Black Dahlia. My Marine son was blown up in Kabul of Afghanistan. He's a
oh
sole
God, I'm
survivor.
so
He is
sorry.
a sole survivor. God, that's got to be horrible. No.
And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say, and I apologize if I'm bringing up bad memories for people, but this is the reason why I do get upset when I see our
But we need to
administration
remember,
allow in refugees that we don't even know if they are terrorists or not. We
right.
don't even know. We have no idea. These people, the people who are coming from Afghanistan, most of them hate the United States.
Blue
They
Lady
hate
Bug
the
says,
United
my
States.
grandson is in the Air Force and turned 21 years old yesterday. So proud of him, but I'm so worried for him now. I
Exactly. I
gotcha.
totally agree. Totally agree.
You're in such chaos now. Sorry, rather have President Trump than Biden anyway. We have lost millions of jobs due to pipeline. Yeah, that's true.
Hmm. And the thing is, Carla, and you knew this about me. I was a diehard Democrat for all my life.
Oh, I remember that.
All my life.
I remember. I remember you saying that.
And I'm still, there's still a whole lot of Democrat left in me. But the Democrat Party that is now who I thought it was in the 90s is not the same Democratic Party. It's just
No.
not.
Uh-uh.
And it's once again, it's a gut feeling, it's a gut instinct, and it's stuff that I'm comparing from the news to what I see on the internet. And I do my research, and I do that research, and I make a judgmental decision for myself. I don't push my opinions on anybody else. I don't ever want people to take my opinion word for it, but I can only make a judgmental decision on what I see and what I'm seeing.
You
And
read Brian's comment.
no, why would he say to me?
Oh my God. I'd rather Ben Ashworth be president than Joe
Oh,
Biden.
Ben for
Good
president,
luck.
man. Ben for president.
Ben
Mm-hmm.
2024.
Ben
Oh, well.
2024.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I
My
don't know
friend though,
about that.
my
I don't know
friend
about
though
that, but
posted. My friend posted up. It's a picture of Ozzy Osbourne, and it said, and still more coherent than Joe Biden.
to
I'm
talk
like,
us, let's let me die in Victoria's Secret or Fredericks of Hollywood. Oh my goodness.
oh, let me die with you there too. I'll help you in my little negligee, and we can die together.
My son always told me when he was 9 years old that he wanted to fight for people and he was going to join the army. He did just that. A week after his high school graduation, he left for training. God bless him. Thank him for his service
Thank
to
him for
our
his
great
service.
country.
And my father is my dad was in the Navy, so
Right.
he's a veteran too. And um,
Thank everyone for their
we
service.
don't talk much, like when it comes to politics and stuff. I don't talk much about that with my parents because you know what, they're getting of an age, they don't need that kind of freaking stress. They just don't. They've lived through a lot of stuff. They've had to vote through a lot of stuff. And my dad was in the Navy. He knows what's right and wrong. And I don't feel the need to bring this up to my dad, who just had a knee replacement surgery, and my mom, who can barely walk at the moment. I'm like, what can they do? You know what I mean? They can vote. And
Right.
look, there's a huge divide in this country when it comes to politics, and that's how they like it, guys. That is what they want. They want to divide. They like us divided. Us divided means everybody else is united against us. And that's what happens. And we
Tacos.
can't we can't let these other countries, especially where they're separating women from men in a classroom just because they're women. And that is the Taliban. That is what they're doing to the women
Don't
right
they
now.
stone them too? Don't they stone
Oh,
women?
Oh God, they're terrible
I
with
mean,
women.
the women have like absolutely no
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
rights. They throw gay people off buildings, and oh my gosh, it's horrible what they do to people.
The
That they're
Taliban,
they're
the
savages.
Taliban. And
Yes,
see,
they're very
I'm sorry
savage.
if you were to ask me if I think Bin Laden's dead, I'm going to say no. I don't. I never saw his body. I never saw him dead. We never heard anything about it. We were heard there was an invasion, but we never saw it. We never saw anything.
Really, Remy?
Smoke and mirrors.
Oh, that's why I don't like watching anything about them because they just seem to me like they're savages.
It's
I'm
just
sorry
I
if
feel like
I'm
we're I
offending
and see Carla,
anybody.
to me, when I look in either direction of politics, I feel like we're being lied to no matter what. And I don't trust anyone at all, like at
Right.
all. And I don't trust government. I don't trust our government whatsoever. I don't trust my Alexa. Definitely not. That's why it's always turned off.
My husband
I
won't have one in the house. He absolutely refuses to have one in the house.
I know a lot of people who felt that way, but then changed. But
He thinks the government will be listening to us if we have one in
I
the
mean,
house
if the
now.
government's listening to me, they're listening to a lot of boring shit because I got nothing. You want a little weed? Come on over. Otherwise, I got nothing for you. I mean,
Brian, you have got to be kidding.
what did he say?
He said the Bush family was having breakfast with bin Laden family the morning of 9/11 minus President Bush.
I don't know
Hey,
about
Sue.
that.
Rumor has it.
Look, all I know was that was probably the most traumatizing time of my life. It was, and I my life wasn't even in danger, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that. We thought our lives were, and once I
Yeah,
got out of the city, I was okay. But getting out of that city made you feel trapped. And
right.
I was very grateful to have a friend who had a car and that we could at least take three people, one woman, two men, in the poor backseat of her tiny, tiny small car. They didn't care how smushed they were. They got out of the city. That's all they wanted. They were
Were they, Joy?
they were
Boy.
thumbing it.
Um, yeah, and I mean that plane that crashed in Shanksville, not very
Schwanks,
far from
Schwanksville. That was the one
Shanksville. It's not very far from us. It's like
no,
down the,
and that was the
an
one that
hour or so.
Peter Jennings said could be coming to Philly, and it caused such a ruckus. I mean,
No,
it was
yeah.
terrible. It was terrible trying to get out at that point. And like I said,
Have you ever been to that memorial?
yes, I have.
Yeah, that's
I've
something.
I've been to the memorial. I've been to the museum. I never went to ground. I've never been to the Twin Towers before that, though. I was a Philly girl. We didn't go to New York, and I remember the first time I ever went to New York, I was a sophomore in high school. And for Philadelphia, New York is not far at all. But the most we ever did as a family was go to the beach. So, or we went to visit family in different parts of the country, like in Virginia and things like that. But we didn't venture into different cities. It just wasn't something that we did. We stuck with what we knew, and when we decided to venture into the city. We ventured into Philadelphia. Now I lived in Philadelphia, grew up in Philly, but I was in Northeast Philly, which was way different than being in, say, Center City, Philadelphia.
Joy Lang says 2020 is showing it now. I'm DVRing 2020.
Oh, are you? What's 20? Oh,
Yeah, I'll watch it later. I do
you know what? After what I just was watching, I had to stop because I did watch. Now, I had someone who contacted me this afternoon and said, "Do you have Paramount?" And I'm like, "Funny enough, I do." I'm like, "I don't know why I do, but yes, I do have Paramount." He said, "Do yourself a favor. go watch this 9/11 special. And I'm thinking, I don't really want to watch a 9/11 special at the moment. Like, she's like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, I don't want to watch
See, I don't
conspiracies.
believe that, Brian. I don't. I don't believe it was a controlled demolition. I mean, although it came down like a demolition, the way the building came down.
And see, Brian, you
I
could
will
be right.
admit that.
You could be right, but I don't know. And that's the thing. And I have, I think a lot of us had figured out that our media lies to us every day, every single solitary day. I mean, come on. When you put the media on and they're like, oh, poor Amber Heard, who's been abused by Johnny Depp, come on, do your research. All you got to do is listen to the one tape that they made, and you will know that she is. Like, that's what I don't understand. We're being lied to, but if you just go look up for the information for yourself, it's there to be found. It's for
Right.
anything, for anything they say. Like TMZ, you cannot trust. I used to trust everything that came out of TMZ's mouth, because if it came from TMZ, where there was smoke, there was fire. Now I'm like, where there's smoke, there's mirrors,
Right.
because I don't believe anything TMZ says. I find everything is sensationalized anymore, and whatever benefits one side or another, and it's everything's political. And I hate politics. I really hate politics. But when it comes to 9/11, unfortunately, politics come into it. That's definitely true.
Brian says no other building in history has ever fallen from fire, and some have burned for days. Um, I,
And
I
and and look at those steel towers. Those steel tower, they were steel. So can I sit here and say Brian's 1,000% wrong? No, I can't. But can I say he's 100% right? No, I can't either, because I don't know who I'm getting the news from is a correct
right,
source. I
right,
don't, it's gotten to the point that I've gotten so cynical that I believe nobody. That's how
right.
bad it is.
Yeah. Well, there's different theories, I'm
Oh,
sure.
there's tons and tons of different theories, of course.
I
And
mean, and it did happen fast. I mean, how fast did it happen? I mean, it did happen fast. I mean, I
I
will
do,
give you that. Hi,
what
Gravy K.
I don't remember. And see, that's where my brain gets a little bit lost and fried. I might have been in the car and I didn't see it happen. And I think we were listening to the
Oh,
news and
it
stuff.
had happened fairly fast. I mean,
See,
it was one plane after
after
another, and then
I,
it came down.
I just remember after the Pentagon was hit, we were gone. That's it. That
Yeah,
was it. That's all I can, like, honestly,
we lost so many
news
people
wise
that day.
remember. But
We
I
lost
said to
so many people.
I did say to my kids, I can remember crying every day out of nowhere. I could have been completely fine, and I would just start crying. I just start crying
I remember being not believing it, not quite believing that it was
in shock,
true.
in shock, in
I think
shock,
a lot of people were in shock.
because
I was just like,
our country didn't get invaded.
right,
We didn't have attacks on our soil. Didn't happen. That was like Middle Eastern stuff. Was like another world back then.
exactly.
And
It
then
just the way,
now we realize how close it really is, like, especially with social media and stuff. And I'm not trying to bring anybody down. I'm sorry, everyone. It's just, to me,
yeah, but we have to remember. I
me
think it's
too. I
important that we
agree.
do have to remember.
But I don't want to bring people down at the same time.
How
But
do you
it's
fit a plane with a 143-foot wingspan into a 16-foot hole and not leave wing marks? I have no idea, Brian.
and see, and
I
Brian
don't even know
makes
what that means.
no. What he's saying is, why wasn't there like a cutout showing where the wings
Oh,
went in
okay.
and where the plane went in, where there would be an obvious showing that a plane hit that? Could he be right?
Right.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Could he be wrong? Abso-freaking-lutely. I saw planes, but I don't know that what I see is always real. I don't. I don't know. And I don't pretend to act like I know, because I
Right.
know how people can fake things. I would love to think that no one would ever fake something like that, but I'm not sure about that either. I'm not sure about that either. And
Hi, Sergeant Blackrock.
that's
It,
what upsets me.
I just remember watching it on and being shocked and thinking this can't be true. This has to be a movie or something. And then the second plane hit. And that's when I'm like, "Oh my God, this is
And see, for
real."
me, we always had a Tuesday morning meeting that always happened at 8 o'clock, or it was
Mhm.
8:30, something like that. And then I came out, and we all had radios in our offices, and I had, and you could tell, like the room of even just people's radio stations had changed. Like, it was very solemn. We're like, what the hell's going on? And I was listening to Preston and Steve in Philadelphia, and they were started talking about how this plane hit the World Trade Center. I remember going over to this one woman. I'm like, "Are you guys watching what's happening in New York?" And then we went into the head office guy, who's the only one who had a TV in his office, and we were all watching from there. And literally, it took Peter Jennings to say there might be a plane headed towards Philadelphia. That's all it took. That's all it took. And everyone ran for their lives, and it was insanity. It was pure insanity. I can't even imagine, like, if I was in the World Trade Center, what that must have been like. And the thing is, I do know people who were, and some of them are fine. Some of them have actually a lot of problems with, with the COPD now in their older years because of
Some
all
of
the
them have
dust they
died.
inhaled.
Yeah, some of them have died already.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember too in the pictures, people running for their lives away
Yeah,
from
yeah.
um
That's how we
from the
ran to the
building,
car. I mean, I
and
can
then the
remember.
firefighters that were running into the building, like the heroes, so I remember both. People running away, people running into the building.
Exactly. Exactly. And you got to remember there's people who did run into, because
Yeah,
most
they
of the
ran
people
into
were
and
running
then
out.
didn't make it back out.
No one knew no one knew what was going on. And I said that to my youngest today. I'm like, you have to understand. We saw a plane hit a building. So you go, oh my God, what a tragic, tragic tragedy. Oh my God, like, that's crazy. On such a beautiful, spotless, no clouds in the sky day. Like, that's weird.
It was a beautiful day too
Oh, it
that
was a
day.
gorgeous
I
day.
just
There was
remember
no
that
clouds.
too. No
No
clouds in the
clouds.
sky.
None.
And then I always remember too, there was this one woman outside the building waving for help. And she sticks in my mind to this day. She sticks in my mind, just waving for help. And I guess eventually she ended up jumping, but oh my gosh, I remember that
I don't.
so
I
much.
don't. I
She was
don't.
hanging, she was hanging from a building and she was waving for help. And then remember misbehaving her friend that phone call we
Yes.
actually played on the anniversary. And that
Yeah.
was like
And
his
I
last,
love that woman beyond belief. I really do.
yeah.
Behaven. She is beyond the sweetest and
Yeah,
kindest person in
she's
the world.
amazing. But her friend passed away in that building, and his phone call, actually we had his phone call playing on here, and it was,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's rough, man. I don't think I
yeah,
heard
that
that,
was
but
a hard
that's
one to listen to because you actually hear when the building was coming down, you hear him screaming, you hear him saying, "Oh my God,"
all
you
right.
know,
Right.
it's like
From
really
he
hard.
said, from the time it began to the crumble to the ground was 10 seconds. You meaning from when the building collapsed? Because when the buildings were hit, it took a while for them to, I mean, an hour or two. I
Kevin
wouldn't.
Cosgrove, that was his name. Yes. Yeah, that was his name.
Hmm.
Very sad. And that was a friend of Miss Behaven's.
Mm.
And she had asked me to play that phone call, and it's I mean, it's on here, so it was like nothing, but it was one of her friends, and it was just such a heart-wrenching phone call.
To make a
You
phone
know,
call to say goodbye for the rest of your life. No, I can't.
well,
I can't wrap
they
my head
were
around
holding
that.
on to the hope that they were going to be rescued. Okay.
Right, right, right. No one knew it was going to happen that day. Nobody
No,
knew.
no one knew that the building was going to come down like it did.
No, no. I mean,
It came down so fast.
and hard. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, like to nothing, into holes in the grounds, and which they still are holes in the ground,
Right.
but they're now just made into fountains, but there's still holes in the ground where those buildings stood.
Sergeant Blackrock says, amazes me why we invaded Iraq when it was Saudis, Afghanistan, and Pakistan supposedly behind that terrible day. Uh,
Um,
Nobody,
as
like,
as
I don't
far as
have
I
no
mean,
idea.
there's a lot of people who hate us. There's a lot of people who don't like America, who don't like what we stand for, who don't like the freedoms that we have, who want it the ways that like the Taliban. Yes, exactly. They want their women to be submissive. They want their men to be educated. The women please the men, and if you don't please the men, you're killed.
Can you play the Cosgrove call? Can you share that?
Can I?
Yeah, Brian I can't, I'm on my tablet, so I can't. I'm not on my computer.
If Brian can come up and share it, I don't even know where it is. Like I
He's
wouldn't even
got
know where
it.
I'd
No,
find it.
he's got it in the chat, the Cosgrove call.
And if she played it before, I'm sure she wouldn't mind it being played again. If
No,
she wanted,
it's on YouTube.
yeah.
We have played it again. Actually, this would be a good time to play it. I don't want to go through.
It's yeah. It's just and it was and I was thinking of going live today, and I had stuff to do, and my daughter got her second vaccination, so I just need to keep a good eye on her tomorrow because she's my diabetic, and so they were very insistent on her getting this um, shot, and I'm not a big fan of the jab because I'm still not sure what this jab does or doesn't do, especially for long-term effects. And like for instance, like for my mom and dad, I'm just like, do it, just do it. You know, if this will save your life, I don't care. But when you're looking at kids who are like 13, 14 and have their whole lives ahead of them, and we don't know what this shot can do, and then they come back and go around, oh well, we didn't know that then, and you can't hold us responsible because we didn't know.
Hi,
Hi,
Brian.
hi. I got that video. It's
Can you share it?
yeah. Let me see. Let me get it to come back up.
Okay.
Hi, Brian.
Hey,
Hey, I'm not in the hospital.
I was about to say that. You're on a roll here, aren't you?
Hey, Super
I
Sue.
am. Don't jinx me.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got that video up. Just a second here. Let's see how. Chrome tab.
Don't forget to share audio too.
Well, I think it should start playing if I just do it this way.
Okay.
Let's see.
Lady was fever in his office. We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad. I understand that. But they're trying to get out of it. All the apparatus there. Tell them what they know where you are. Oh, thought about it poorly. I used to be 15 on top of the I'm 15 on top of the He's on the line. Let me question. What is the fire stuff? Snake, New Bear, 105, 2-5. All right, sit tight. We'll get you as soon as we can. There's some staying up at the Smoke News Bear, man. I barely need it. All we can do. We're on the thing I get to. We're getting there. We're getting there. There's some shit like you're doing. I got one too. I understand that, sir. We're on the way. Yeah, I got that. We're operating. Yeah, come on, man. Okay, we're operating good, sir. And then you can take the screen like you get back to people like you. I understand. And then you get in the building, you up on the top. Smoke lights, we're on the floor, we're in there. And then we have to do it green there. Okay. Just had a hundred there. I can say this. You say yes, can I make this baby? What the hell happened? Okay, I'm still here. She was just trying to find a pocket, trying to get it was clear like this. And they try to cross down so you can preserve your oxygen, okay? Try to put God to play with him from the list. It's throughout hour. Everybody like that child anyway? I was young men, we're not ready to die. I'm sure. I don't even get my ass down. I need oxygen. They have a lot of apparatus on the you guys didn't realize it, right? You get them in from all over. They're in from Jersey. I don't give you their Ohio. I was in high school. I must have called about a dozen times already. C-O-S-T-R-O-D-U. My wife thinks I'm all right. I called her and said I was reading the green outside. I'm bang. Very protective. And I want to that's Cherry, you said that. That's Cherry next to him. 105. John Ashford Ashford. Little John Ashford Ashford. LSQ. A-R-U. A-R-U. Right. That's the office there. As soon as it's in there. A-R-U. Hello? We live in a financial center. Between us, 2 broken windows.
That'll do it.
That's always hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Always hard to listen to.
Extremely hard to listen to.
That was Miss Behaven's friend.
Wow.
And I was talking to Sergeant Blackrock in the chat. The United States, we had 15 of the F-14 fighter pilots at the time, and on that day, I forget the name of the operation it was called. I think it was Operation Northwoods or something. But they had a scheduled drill that day, and the drill was what would they do if a hijacked plane hit the World Trade Center. So when they started hearing over the radios that planes were hitting the World Trade Center, they thought it was a drill,
Wow.
and that's confirmed.
Wow. I just
And
watched something on Paramount. It's called the 26th Street Garage. It's pretty interesting. It's from the FBI. It's perspective and how they saw everything.
Well, okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's on Paramount.
Paramount. Here's something I might want to add. And George Bush was at a school in Florida reading a book,
I remember. Yep.
and you see a guy come in and whisper in his ear.
Yep.
That's when he's telling him, "Hey, a plane has hit the World Trade Center." And so he sits there and looks puzzled. But later on, he said that he knew something was going on because he saw on TV a plane hit the World Trade Center. He said he saw that. But if you remember right, these English brothers were in New York, and they were doing a documentary on the firefighters in New York City. You see two guys working on a manhole, and then you see the plane come in and hit, and then the fire guy goes, "Oh shit!"
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Yep.
that was the first and only footage of the plane hitting the World Trade Center shown that day.
Yeah.
Okay, but it wasn't aired until the next day. So how did George Bush see it happen?
But this, I would say, on the second day, you saw that second plane hit,
Right.
not the first. I never saw the first. Like I
Right.
said, I didn't even know the first one hit until after. But the second one, I saw with my own eyes.
Right, but like I said, George Bush said he saw the first plane hit as he was walking into that schoolroom. But those guys didn't release that video till the next day of the first one hitting. See, nobody knew it was coming, right?
So what do you think that means?
Well, how could George Bush say he saw it?
If nobody got any kind of visuals at that time of the plane first hitting the World Trade Center.
Right.
That's what I'm understanding. So how did George Bush know on 9/11 that he saw that first plane? How did he see it when no one else did?
How would he even see the second plane hit if he says it was a mistake and he saw the second plane hit?
And he was reading a book.
And then still have that guy come in and say, "We're under attack," and we're, if
Well,
he,
it's not like I can actually say trust any of the presidents that, except maybe I didn't know much about Reagan. That's all I can say.
right, and then you want, Jesse conspiracy with Jesse Ventura, the wrestler. Here's another thing too: the black boxes that were in those planes they're designed to be indestructible. There's never been a plane crash anywhere ever where the black boxes weren't found.
But the Malaysia one that went down that nobody found, no one found that black box.
I've never heard that, but I'm just saying it's odd that those weren't found.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and there were drills. There were people doing construction on the elevator shafts in the World Trade Center up to a couple weeks before. And there were a couple times that the construction workers evacuated people. They evacuated the building so they said they could do the work. That's when people think that's when people think that they went in and put in, what was it called? Thermalite, the stuff for the controlled demolition.
Sergeant Blackwell says, Brian, they even made a meme that the book was upside down. I don't know what that means.
Well, it was the teacher that was there.
Meaning he wasn't actually reading the book.
Well, it was the teacher, and
it was a setup.
Yeah, there's so much about that leads me to believe that it was planned. The whole thing was planned.
No offense, but when someone said something into his ear, I'm sorry, I don't see shock on his face, or fear, or anything.
Right, but to be the devil's advocate on that one, he was sitting in front of a bunch of children. So give him that.
True, but even like your eyes might widen or your eyebrows might go up or something. They wouldn't have known if that was the reason why he made that facial expression and he kept going on.
Well, he looked pissed to me.
Oh,
He looked like he was pissed off. But the thing of it is those buildings went down within an hour and a half, and they said that it was from the extreme heat that made the steel bend. But these experts, are saying from that the fires didn't get hot enough to bend it. But at any rate, there's other buildings that had burned for days, and never fell. Never.
I don't know.
Fall. The buildings did fall rather quickly. I mean, I will give you that.
I
Like
don't believe I know this is true. I didn't see them fall because I was in a car.
Yeah, they fell really quick. What was it, within
An hour and a half, someone said?
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was definitely in a car.
It's
For
also
certain.
It's also interesting to note that the president's brother, Marvin Bush, was the head of security for the World Trade Center complex. He was the head of security. And his term ended at 8 o'clock. That's when it ended. His term ended. And the first plane hit shortly after 8:30. And then Larry Silverstein owned that whole property. And you see him on TV, and he says, well, there was just too much chance. He's talking about World Trade Center 7. He said there's just too much death and destruction and too much chance, that it could be more. So we decided to pull it. When he said pull it, that's a term that people who specialize in controlled demolition mean when they're going to implode a building. They pull it. And he said that they were going to pull it. But the thing of that is it takes weeks to set it up.
Set up an implosion like that.
An implosion. And it goes back to where 1 and 2 they were being evacuated because they had construction going on in the elevator shafts.
Why would they sacrifice so many lives, though?
Well, I think the thing of it was to get control, to false flag like Germany did, to get control and
scare the shit out of us,
to scare people,
to not to go back to work, for us not to start living our normal daily lives as we always have.
Just like we have with the mask now. I mean that's my opinion on it. They say that there's proof that the 19 hijackers that were involved in this whole thing are still alive today.
Yes, and the number one person who put this bullshit together has never had a trial.
Yeah.
The guy who was the mastermind of 9/11 has never had a trial and is still at Guantanamo Bay.
And you notice they took the focus off of bin Laden right after that.
And we never saw bin Laden dead. We never saw anything or casket, nothing.
We saw John Dillinger dead. They laid John Dillinger out for everybody to see. Bonnie and Clyde, they laid them out to see him dead. They wanted people to see him.
We didn't see bin Laden dead.
No, and they took the focus off of bin Laden because everybody was focused on bin Laden at the time. And immediately it went back to Saddam Hussein.
And Saddam really had nothing to do with it.
Yep. And we saw them hang him.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people saw that.
Hey, Samara.
I don't know if you guys
I wanted to say something first. I wanted to say something that everybody's up here except for you, Carla, that's going on and on and on about how you believe it's a conspiracy or it's set up. That Bush was reading the book upside down. You do realize that was a meme making fun of him because they always said he couldn't read. That wasn't really. It wasn't in the proper way.
It's a meme, yeah.
That was why. It had nothing to do with the fact that they thought it was a setup and that it was making fun of him because he couldn't read.
Right.
And Brian, you actually think the hijackers are still alive?
That's why I said it like this. I said they say that there's proof that there's 19 hijackers are still alive today.
And he's not wrong when it comes to that, because I literally just watched the documentary today, and the guy who, like I said, who was the mastermind, he never went to trial.
They had people.
Okay, then who flew the plane into the building?
Well, a lot of people say that those were not commercial airliners, and that when the second plane is coming in and you can see it, you see a fuselage fire something into the building first. A lot of people claim that those are remote control military planes, which they do have. A lot of people that were on the ground were saying that as well. But if you go
So
back
everything that we've been hearing, even when loved ones were on their phone with their loved ones and they could hear things and they're telling them about the hijackers being on the plane, none of that is real.
well, you got to take into consideration that one guy called his mom, and I forget his name, but he said this is, and then he said his first and last name. I just want to tell you that, this has been, he called his mom. Who calls their mom and says their first and last name? I have to go back and dig that up for you, but a lot of people say.
Wait, we're nitpicking every little thing because somebody who's on a plane that's been hijacked, he called his mom and he in a moment of panic said his first and last name.
What I said is, who does that? And I agree. It could have been a moment of panic. But my question would go back to, all right, this is where, did they tell us the truth about John Kennedy's assassination?
We're talking about two different time periods.
Well, I'm talking about how
two different administrations.
I absolutely agree with you.
But under the United States government.
But the fact is that the government doesn't always tell us the truth.
I agree on that.
Okay, and only Kennedy was shot, not 3,000 people were killed in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Agreed.
No way is our government conspired to have 2 buildings come down and another plane come down that was headed for the Pentagon. No way. I mean, the White House, the Pentagon also, and people dying on there in no possible way.
I don't think there's a conspiracy behind it either, but I'm also saying that I don't know if I'm ever being lied to or not. That's basically what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, I believe what happened that day, that we saw happened that day.
Yeah,
I do.
That's one thing that you can believe. You also have to take a look at some of the things. Yeah,
I did see it. We all saw it.
Right. So that is a fact that planes hit.
But no, Brian, you're trying to say that they took the government took the buildings down. That's what you're saying.
But the fact of the matter is, there, and not to try to gang up on Brian or anything, but there are a lot of people who do have these different conspiracies about 9/11. He's not the only one.
I know, but the majority of them can be debunked. And I'm with you, KK Bronson. Like JFK was only one person in the car who was shot. Not our government really conspired. I mean, to even know that some people are actually considering this as the truth, as opposed to what we all saw happen that day, that it was all a setup and we didn't have terrorists who hate our country, like you just got done saying, Ginger Locke. There's lots of countries that hate Americans.
Mm-hmm.
None of that was true.
I never said that.
Because I find it hard to believe that my brother, who's a Marine, would be in the military working for a government to go ahead and allow things like 2 towers to come down with people, everyday people who were going to their jobs.
Wouldn't know. A simple soldier wouldn't know.
He's not just a simple soldier. It's many of them. Those who are all in charge. You're going to tell me that they all conspire. They're all quiet and mum 20 years later still?
Like I said, some of the higher ups.
It's conspiracies.
Conspiracies, exactly. It is conspiracy. It is. That's exactly what it is.
It's just a thought. I don't trust our government, especially after and with no offense to anybody, especially after this last election. I don't trust our government. And
okay, go ahead.
I just look at things that people are putting out there, And,
I know.
and
Say that the government, everybody who works in the government doesn't have one person who was related to or affiliated to or knew somebody who worked in those buildings. So you would have
Oh
to
no,
say that it didn't
all those
matter.
people died. All those people
well,
absolutely died.
you got to remember that
No, that's
in
not what
World,
I'm saying.
in World Trade
That's
Center
not what I'm
7,
saying.
in World Trade Center 7, you had so many different governmental offices, the CIA, the feds, a lot of different governmental offices, and they got that one evacuated. So, and then it came down after, you know, it looked like a controlled demolition to me, and that's what it looked like to me. It looked like a controlled demolition to me.
Don't you think there would be thousands and thousands of phone calls made that day saying, don't go into work that day, you need to do this that day, do something else, be late. They're
Condoleezza,
just gonna let.
yeah, Condoleezza Rice was told not to fly that day. That's a fact. And another thing that really freaks me out is if you have all this stuff going on up in the air with planes and stuff, why would you put the president in the air unless he knew he was safe?
I don't know, but to me, it seems like everybody's reading into things to find a reason. I don't know, to still distrust every single thing that's going on around us.
Right. Well, don't you think that it's odd that they had that? There was a drill for the fighters that day. There was a literal drill that's been documented, and the drill was how they would react if hijacked planes hit the World Trade Center. That's a fact.
Okay. All right, that I would have to see. I'd also have to see that they told Condoleezza Rice not to fly, and a bunch of other things that you said too. I would have to see.
Well, yeah,
Not
I
just
don't know any of this
hearsay.
stuff.
Right. Right.
Okay, we
I
could do
just don't.
basic chemtrails.
Yeah.
Yes.
All I'm saying is just sometimes I don't believe everything I see and I don't believe everything I'm told. I'm not just saying I believe what happened on 9/11 actually happened
That's right.
without a doubt.
Right.
Without a doubt.
I believe everything that went down the way it went down. I
Mm-hmm.
do not believe in the conspiracy theories that I've heard. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, with the Pentagon. Now, the Pentagon is the most secure building in the world. We have no footage of a plane hitting that. None. And the hole that it went into was 16 feet from one side to the other. And those Boeing 707s have a 143-foot wingspan. And there's no sign of a wing. There's people that said they saw other planes flying around. The FBI's first task within 20 minutes was to go to the businesses around the Pentagon and commandeer their video of just people coming and going. But there's no footage to this day of a plane that big hitting the Pentagon. There's no footage in the most secure
Okay,
building.
so what hit the Pentagon?
A lot of people believe it's a missile.
How could you? They don't see the missile. I mean, they don't see the plane, but they're guessing it's a missile because they would have missed that too.
Missiles are smaller and faster, and we don't know what the FBI, when they took these videos from from the businesses around there, and then these business people that own the businesses said that they did come in and take their videos. So we don't know. What you have is like a 5-second clip of something right into the building, but it wasn't a plane. What you will see was not a plane.
I absolutely believe it was a plane. Then what happened to all those people and that plane?
Well, a lot of people say this is what the people are saying, that the planes were traded out, and that one of them landed in Cleveland, and that the people were taken off of the plane, and that's what they say.
What they do?
But
Pay all
wouldn't
those
those
people
people
to never talk.
Wouldn't they still be
Right.
missing today? Like if they were dead?
Well,
Exactly.
what I mean is they were taken off that plane, and they can't talk today.
So
I know,
Why-
Gravy K. I'm
So what
getting to
you're
that
saying-
too. Yes.
Thank you, James. So
Actually,
what-
there are plenty of businesses around the Pentagon. There are gas stations, there are drive-thrus, there are grocery stores. There's plenty of business. If you Google Map it, you can see them to this day.
Because
You
my
saw
brother
the
used to
foot-
work
I
in the
saw the
Pentagon.
footage, too. I know what Gravy K's talking about. I saw the footage too, but it wasn't a plane. I did not see a big ass 707 go into that building. I did not see that.
Okay, I have no doubt that it was a plane. No doubt.
Well, if
I didn't
you
need to
get
see it with my own eyes.
right, Samara, if you get the footage again, slow it down, and screenshot it, and show me a plane. That's all. I've tried it.
I know, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've seen all the stuff where it's been a stop and a start, and then like you see the fire and everything that happens afterward. In no possible way do I believe that it was not a plane that hit it because of the people that all got on it.
I believe what I saw. I believe what I saw, and I did not see a plane hit that. That's all.
And
Okay,
that's your
Brian,
opinion.
Gravy K is saying that they live there and there are not building businesses around the Pentagon. And my brother used to work there too. He does say that there's a whole section off that is dedicated.
Okay. Well,
when the,
if you Google map the Pentagon right now, if you Google map it, you'll see a CVS delivery. You'll see a Baskin Robbins ice cream. That's just right now, and that's right. And CVS delivery is right there. There's a collections agency. Let's see, I'm just Google mapping it right off the bat here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little side streets. Arlington Cemetery's got surveillance.
they are in Crystal City,
Well, like I said,
and that's too far away.
it's not too far away.
I just to
See,
pull off something on that scale. I mean, come on, someone would speak up by now.
Well,
Someone
people
would've
have
stuck.
spoke up, and when people speak up, they say, "Well, they're just a conspiracy theorist. They're crazy." Let me drop this little guy in front of the Pentagon here. Oh, it won't let you.
I know what I'm saying is in order, like when you get up and you're on a panel and you put stuff out there, like it's big accusations, especially tomorrow being 20 years.
Right.
Everybody who's here is like affected in some way.
Right.
It's a lot to put out there that all of what you know is not what it was.
It's not what we believe, or what we've always thought for the past 20 years is what happened is what actually happened. It's very hard to actually believe that somebody would, especially our own government, would block something.
I do not believe.
I don't want.
Yeah, and I don't believe that our government was behind it. No, it's not even a fact. It's not even that I don't want to believe it. It's that I do not believe it or want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I don't want to believe it. I don't believe it at all. That our government is behind 9/11.
Okay, look, Gravy K.
There's no way.
Gravy K says that person, I don't know if Gravy K is male or female, I really don't. I don't remember. But they said that they live there and there's buses that go, and buses have video on them. No, there's no video of a plane even incoming from businesses that are far out. There's no video of it.
If anybody here has Paramount, I highly suggest you watch the 20th Street Garage, which Tom Selleck actually voices over. And it basically tells you from the FBI standpoint what had happened that day, what they knew, what they didn't know, and and how they moved forward. And I highly recommend it because I believe in what I saw in that to be the truth. Absolutely.
Now, look at what Asuka Langley says. If you believe that they found the hijacker's driver's license on the street after flying a jet into the towers, then you cannot be helped. What that person is
Okay, well, the
speaking about-
hijackers they're on video getting on the plane.
Right.
So
and
they weren't.
saying that
they took a detour.
No, they're saying that in the rubble, what that person is speaking of is they actually found a passport in one of the hijackers. It was paper. Now there were whole bodies that had never been found, and this stuff was the building was pummeled into dust. It was pure dust. First responders were dying years and years after because they were breathing in that dust. But they want us to believe that they found a paper passport of one of the hijackers in that rubble that wasn't even singed. That's what they're talking about.
Okay,
what
well,
you're
I didn't
trying-
see that,
You're
and
trying, you're trying to say that the government was working with terrorists.
Now, the government blamed it on terrorists.
Well, why would the
no, the
government?
government didn't have anything to do with it because it was the terrorists.
And that's you have the right to that. I don't want to argue with you too much about it, but if you also recall, the hush hush of it all was that gold is stored up under the World Trade Centers, and $289 billion worth of gold come up missing that day. You can research that.
Okay,
I don't know anything about
it
that.
would have to be.
I don't
No,
either.
that's the first time I've heard that too.
Never heard about
Okay.
anything about gold.
Well, see, if they put fear into people, then you get control. Fear is what gives us control with this. And the whole thing with the COVID, and God bless everyone that's been affected by it and died and gotten sick and all that.
It does suck.
A lot of people honestly believe that it's biological warfare and that this COVID virus was something that was man-made in China, and it got out of control. And here we have this.
And I
And
do
now-
believe that's a possibility. Yes.
Right. And so the government gets control. You have to stay away from each other. You have to wear a mask. Stay inside. Don't go to work. Don't go to school. All right. And it puts this kind of control. And now the COVID has been around for so long that these things are the norm. If I don't wear my mask, I feel like I'm forgetting something. You know what I mean? So it's all this type of stuff, if it's true that our government was behind it, is all about fear and control. And the goal of the establishment, the world establishment, the Bilderberg, Skull and Bones, the goal is population control. If we're all fighting with each other, like me and Samara are kind of bickering a little bit. If we're all fighting with each other, we won't be fighting them. And that's the civil unrest. They strive on civil unrest. The media sells racism like hotcakes. They want us to be fighting with each other. So
I believe you're right on that, because I
They
feel
do-
like
yeah.
they do that intentionally.
Right.
Absolutely.
they do things like this in plain sight. Lesser evil. And it does go back to John Kennedy. John Kennedy wanted peace for everybody. Robert Kennedy wanted peace for everybody. He wanted to pull people out of Vietnam. So if you have a good president and he wants to do what's right for the people, just publicly execute him.
Leland.
And you're talking to a guy that stood in the window at Dealey Plaza. I stood in the 6th floor window right next to where Lee Harvey Oswald was supposed to be at, supposed to make them
Me
shots.
too.
And the only thing that I was thinking is when they turned off onto Elm Street from Houston Street, the motorcade was coming straight at him, right? Why wait till he turns to make the shot? So they catch him in a crossfire. There was no way Kennedy was going to get out of that. But the main and I'm thinking to myself, that tree is still there, right? The tree that was in the way is still there, and I'm thinking, how could he make that shot? I was sitting there talking in the call. I was like, there's no way he made that shot. And they wanted to publicly execute Kennedy, even though because he was a drug abuser, he was a sexist, but he was a male chauvinist, but he wanted peace for our country. He wanted that. He was just too good, so they had to take him out. And that tells the next president, well, you better do what we tell you. Seriously, I mean, I just don't trust our government at all. After, like I said, and based on this last election, and no offense to nobody, this is my political belief. This jackass that we have he's an embarrassment, and he's a puppet.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people agree with
There's
that.
no way that Joe Biden got more votes than any other president in history.
No.
No way.
None.
No way. No
No,
way.
I don't believe
no way,
that.
No way. No way. No way.
And he was doing a speech the other day, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to go through this approved list of press agents that they gave me that can ask questions." Well, who gives him this freaking list? Trump's like, "You're fake news. I'm not talking to you." Nobody gave Trump list. I think that Trump wasn't our best president at all.
Okay, I got to admit, when he constantly brings up, okay, here's the list of people that they gave me to call on. You're saying that out loud? I don't think that's supposed to be said out loud.
They don't let him talk that much. But they have to put him in front of the people. But they don't let him.
Oh,
Now
they do.
the media,
Absolutely.
now the media is even turning on Biden when they wouldn't touch him at first. And when Trump was in office, it was every day. Trump this, Trump.
But let's be honest. We all even
That's
saw
right,
this
Joy Lane.
coming. We
Yeah.
saw Joe Biden not making it the full 4 years. I don't think anybody saw
Well, he
him.
flat out said in an interview, and I put this video up. He said one reporter asked him, "Well, what if you and Kamala Harris have a disagreement or whatever?" And he said, "I'll just come up with some medical illness and I'll turn it all over to her." He flat said that. He said that.
That's the plan.
That
The
is the
plan
plan.
and to put her in
Sergeant
office.
That's the
Blackwell.
plan.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so Samara, if you think now you believe that it's all planned, right? So if you think that our government will put who they want in there and take out who they want taken out, why would they be beyond creating a false flag like 9/11?
No way. No way. 3,000 lives. It involved terrorists who can't stand us. So all the videos and everything are all fake. It's like the world is really flat instead of being round. Like, no.
None of the videos
This
are fake.
with the election, and read Sergeant Blackrock's comment before it goes away.
Guys,
Millie Weaver
the
got
20
evidence.
I
our
highly
election.
recommend the 26th Street Garage, which just came out on Paramount. I don't know who has Paramount. Like, it's an hour long, but it takes you from the FBI perspective, and I believe from the FBI perspective, that is what happened.
Yeah.
Totally, 100%.
So Sergeant
Go ahead, Carla.
Blackrock says Millie Weaver got evidence our elections have been tampered with in 2018. Hard proof.
I saw
crickets
that,
from
Sergeant.
MSM.
Yep.
I don't
Mhm.
doubt that we've been tampered with at all. And oh my God, if we didn't, then we're a bunch of fools not to think that our election's been tampered with at some point
They literally
from
took
any
our
country.
they literally took our right to vote away from us. We have a president whose son is on Skype smoking crack.
Yep, and he has some pretty serious stuff on his computer, like
Oh yeah, he does.
worse than what we've all been hearing.
Yeah, he's
Joy,
an
I
artist
agree.
now. He's selling these shitty paintings for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, come on, man.
We are hated more now, and they know Biden is weak. That's
We are
right.
a joke.
They
That's
know
right.
he's very weak. They know he's very weak.
And
And
our
with him-
government,
Yeah.
And with the guy asking him the other day, like, to take as the president responsibility, and he held that thing like, I can't do it, man. I just can't do it. And he was just like looking down, and he kept shaking his head. And then he snapped back at the actual reporter who asked him the question that he asked, and which makes him actually even look a little bit more crazier than he actually is.
I'm
where-
just yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's I mean, all you gotta do, go to YouTube. Okay, we all got YouTube. We're all on it here. If you go to YouTube and you look up Joe Biden, do yourself a favor and just go to each video. Look up the thumbs up between the thumbs down, and I mean CNN, NBC, MSNBC. The differences between the thumbs up and the thumbs down, you're not going to find many videos with more
No.
thumbs up than thumbs down.
No, we
I
recruited.
did my search.
We
I did.
recruited a president who campaigned from a basement.
Yep.
Trump would always say when Biden did his rallies, he'd say, show the crowd, because people were not
Yep.
showing up.
And you know what?
Nope.
Poor Chris Pratt gets shit because he wasn't on the call with Biden. And he's like
Remember,
the nicest guy in the world, and everybody wants to cancel him because he wasn't on the call with the Avengers, but he never was expected to be. That's not what he decided he was going to do.
remember the night that Biden he won the presidency, and they did this rally thing, and Kamala Harris walks on with her husband. She's walking up to the stage with the husband, and somebody let off a firework, and that dude jumped around. He jumped so hard, and I was thinking, yeah, that might be what you have planned on, buddy. I'm sorry to say it, but you know, I gave it a year that we would be saying hello to President Harris. I gave it a year.
Less. I give it less than a year.
Biden's there already.
Okay,
Biden,
and
yeah.
what about what is the big thing with Kamala Harris? Because I don't know a lot about her, but I don't hear good things
Well,
at all.
I did hear she was a good prosecutor back in her day.
mhm.
That's one thing I definitely did hear
Well, she had
about her.
7 terms in the Senate, I believe, wasn't it? How many terms?
Not exactly sure.
Well, she was getting a lot of crap because she would prosecute people for having weed when she smoked it herself. So she's
Wow.
a hypocrite. And Donald Trump was somebody who never did drugs, never drank, healthy man, clear thinker, couldn't be bought, put the press in their place. They could simply not have that.
But Brian, also Donald Trump wanted to make himself and modeled himself also after the mafia. He was a part and hung out with those people, and that's how he wanted to make himself be.
Well,
You
so
do
did
know that,
Kennedy.
right?
Yeah, so did Kennedy. The mob, Sam Giancana made sure that Kennedy got the Illinois vote, and then after he got in, then Robert Kennedy and all them decided to go after the mafia. All right, they decided to go after him. You know, they shit on him hard. So and you know, Joe Kennedy, he was they were all mobsters are in anything. They've always been in politics, always,
Mm-hmm.
and because there's control there.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I have a hard time believing that every president hasn't been contacted by the mob.
I think
in
I
one
watched
way or another.
Goodfellas twice this week. Easy.
Like
Totally.
J. Edgar Hoover, you know, he made the mob worse than what they were because he was in cahoots with them. J. Edgar Hoover, he got things done because he had dirt on people. He was the one. He would. I mean, it's all about information and power, you know. But the mob has always been in politics. They've always been in politics.
Joy,
And the
you're
fr- and
right. I didn't have to show ID at this voting when I went to go vote. Plus, they made us sit at a table where I was sitting next to someone, and they were walking around as you were filling out the ballot, where anybody
Right.
can see what you're writing. Then I handed it off, and I don't know where it went from there.
Right.
See, and because I was sick, mine was a mail-in. I had to mail mine in,
Yeah.
and I
There was-
never mail mine in.
You know, and then this thing, when I first heard about this COVID vaccine coming out, when I first heard that they were working on it and they got it, they said, okay, we got it, it's ready. I turned and told Nicole, I said, watch, they're going to start making everybody get this thing, or you're not going to be able to go to work.
I do that too.
And now, what do we have this morning? See,
I
and then
just
our
had
job,
my daughter
our-
just get her second vaccine is what I just did today. But you know, and the funny thing is, on the same note with that, like I had COVID really bad, but I didn't
Yeah.
have breathing issues with it, but I had it really bad. To the point where they're like, you may have more antibodies than you realize. And the doctors are like, and they're not sure what to do with me right now. They're like, well, we want you to keep getting your infusion. So we don't want to stop that. But they're like, because you had COVID, the way you had COVID, you may not get COVID again because you're built up antibodies.
I'd take it if they guaranteed it. But the thing of it is the thing that I don't like about this COVID vaccine is they fast tracked it through the safety precautions and the testing, and other vaccines over the years, like for polio and stuff like that. It took 6 or 7 years to study the vaccine to actually put it out there. And so let's look at it this way: the people that are getting these vaccines now, they're pushing booster shots. Uh, the people that are getting these vaccines, 7 to 8 years from now, COVID will be gone, right? And these people that got the vaccine start dropping like flies. You know what the government's going to tell you? You knew I was a snake. They're going to say, "Oops," because you have to sign off when you take that. And now, the federal workers, state workers, and county workers are now they're being forced to take this vaccine, and I fall in that category. And I might be at a I love my job, but if somebody tells me that I have to put something in my body that I don't want in there, or I can't work here, I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that. What if they tell us next? All right, Brian. In order to work here, you have to have breast implants. I'm not cool with that. I'm not down with it. You don't tell me what to do with my body.
Unfortunately, that is exactly what's going on. I mean, with my husband, where he works, that's basically what was offered, and that was 3 months ago that he had no choice.
Right, and
so
they'll tell
he went and he got the Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, and now they say
That's the one my husband wanted.
they say the
Johnson
Pfizer's
and
been
Johnson.
FDA. The Pfizer's been FDA approved now. It's supposed to ease some of the tension on people, but basically,
That's what I just got my 14-year-old today.
Yeah,
was her second dose.
Basically, if people don't get these vaccines from the federal, state, or government levels or city levels that work across the nation, you could be hit with termination through insubordination, and it's your body.
Yeah.
And then you'll be labeled. Then you go on a FBI flag list, if stuff like that.
Well, see, and here's the difference. Like, I have doctors, my doctors who are my specialists, look at me and go, "You know what? We need to hold off with you because A, you probably do have pretty awesome antibodies since you had COVID so badly for so long, and B, they were like, you need to also keep up with your infusions, and if you get your shots, that's going to totally mess up your infusions, and you can't get your infusions."
Gravy Katie says, "Just say no." Well, I have a good job. It's got really good benefits, and it
But
pays
they can't
well.
force you, can they? That isn't that against your civil rights?
Yes, they can. Yes,
they can. Force you. Yes.
Yes, they can, and they have.
Mm-hmm.
They have.
And then after they get this through, they force these people to have them. And this is what's coming next. Your kids can't go to school unless they've been vaccinated. You can't go shop at Kroger's unless you've been vaccinated. You're going to have to show your vaccination card like a passport to get inside a place.
But I also don't want to be that person who doesn't vaccinate my kid and decides to get people who are sick, and she gets sick and gets sick around them. There's also a point of me where there is a little bit of guilt if I don't get the shot. Now, right now, I don't get the shot, but they're saying, I wear a mask. I don't not wear a mask. I wear a mask everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But,
Well, check the thing with the mask is what people don't understand. Yeah.
Well, no, I caught COVID through a mask. That is the truth.
I can't.
I caught COVID through a mask.
Yeah, I can't breathe with the cloth mask on, so I'll use those paper ones, right?
Right, the paper ones, and that's what I buy for the kids because they hate the cloth ones.
And if you're trying to drive and you don't have it all right, it fogs up your glasses and all that crap. But if people were really listening to what Fauci said, your mask, your paper mask, or your cloth mask has to be changed every 2 hours, or as soon as it starts getting moist, it's not effective. Nobody hardly ever does that. I see people pull them out of their pockets.
Yeah, I
and leave
think
them on their
of it.
dashboard and stuff. They're not quick.
Who uses the same mask? Who puts
Absolutely.
it on the
Nobody's,
wall?
yeah, nobody's following that CDC law at all. At all.
Right. It's like
Nobody.
even here at home, Nicole's got, she's got like 30 masks hanging by our front door off thing. So when people are coming in and out, people are coming and going, whatever they got gets on the mask, and then the kids put them on and they go. I mean, I just
See,
don't.
that's why I
They're
grabbed
the
the
same way
disposable.
here. I got one in my car, just in my car.
My kids like the disposable ones. My kids
And
don't like
I have
the
both.
cloth ones at all.
now I'm telling you though, if I was to catch the COVID, my opinion might change. To be honest with you about it. But
Yeah.
these
Me too.
these shots
Now-
don't guarantee you're not going to get sick.
I
They don't.
caught COVID. Okay. So, and I am a pretty, I would say, cautious person. And because of my infusions, my doctors have come to agreement not to give me the injection yet. And actually just to give it a little bit more time to see maybe how much longer the COVID.
Where did your COVID, like when you got it, where did it affect? And it didn't affect your lungs. Where did it affect you? Like, how did it
every
affect you?
other place.
Where do
Was
you
it
think?
like
name
a
it.
cold? No, but was it like a cold or was it? I don't.
I just remember I was in a private room, number one, which was really weird. I'm
Where
in
do
a
you
private
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you think you caught it?
at a testing.
Yeah.
When they
Okay.
took me down for my stomach dumping testing, which where I can't, they try to get you to eat like this egg disgusting sandwich, and I can't, and I keep telling them, I can't eat. You don't understand the part of I can't eat. So you think I'm going to be able to eat this egg sandwich and keep it down because you're giving, no, it comes right back up. So finally, like they did it with liquid. So when I went there, there was a lot of people, way more than there should have been in this hallway. And then this woman was like, I got to hold this because it's radioactive stuff that you have to drink down because we need to watch it go through your system. So that's exactly where I caught it.
Yeah.
So my doctor goes, and he's Russian, and he's the surgeon. And I said, I caught COVID in the hospital. And I told his assistant, and he looked at me. He goes, that's crazy talk. I went, how is that crazy talk when I caught COVID in the hospital? You brought it in with you. I said, I was negative when I came in. Nope. You brought it in with you. You did not. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like freaking out. I'm like, what is your problem, dude? I'm like, I totally caught it here. But he did not want to hear that. He got really pissed at me.
So
I'm like,
they
whatever.
said they refused to believe you.
That was just the surgeon.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, it
But-
didn't really
but
make a
where did it-
difference whether he believed me or not.
What I'm asking you is, where did it affect you exactly? Like, did it affect your stomach? It didn't affect your lungs, but where did it affect you? Was it like a cold or?
It was like a flu.
Like a
Because
flu.
there was a thing, and I was still getting sick and throwing up. And I said, but I'm still getting sick and throwing up from COVID. And he goes, well, you've gastroparesis, so you're probably throwing up because of gastroparesis now. I went, no, there's a difference in between the two different types of being that sick. I said, one, you have no choice and it comes when it comes, where the other one, it's just you over and you just get sick. It's not the same feeling, and it's not as violent either. I had it pretty violently.
Because, like that guy that works with my husband, he had to be on a respirator. And Joy and her husband, it affected their lungs. And I think it affected Tawanda's lungs. And I'm just wondering,
Tawanda got it bad, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm wondering what the other symptoms are when you get it. Like,
one of
is
my
it like a
twins.
flu?
one of my twins caught it, and all he had a headache. He couldn't smell
Right.
anything, and he couldn't taste anything. But other than that, he was just fine.
The smell and the taste thing though was so, I felt that was horrible
Yeah,
because
there's a
I
guy.
would literally be sticking an alcohol swab up my nose. Like, can I really not smell this? But it would burn. It would
Yeah,
slightly burn. I could feel
Um,
the burning sensation, but I couldn't smell the alcohol, nor could I smell coffee beans. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. This is awful. I'm
there's a
like,
guy. Yeah, there's a guy at my work that he had it like 4 months ago, and he still hasn't got his sense of smell back.
yeah, and I've heard that about people too, that they haven't got their taste or smell
oh God,
um
I
in
had
months.
I had women who were beside me because I shared a room while I had COVID with other COVID people,
Oh,
and the couple of the women were 90. They were way better off than I was. Oh my
it just
God.
it affects people different ways.
See, Joy says my husband's lungs, kidneys, blood clots.
Yeah,
The
He
blood
has
clots.
like
Yeah.
everything.
I don't know what to say to people who've watched somebody suffer from that, but I just, in my opinion, it's biological warfare, and like Trump always
I
blamed
think
it
a
on
lot of
China.
people think that when
Yeah,
your lungs get bad from COVID, it's your own immune system
Oh
and
flooding
my
then
God.
again,
and
not
then
COVID.
technology. All right, here comes a strain of it. Technology starts to work it out, and then the strain gets stronger, and then they work that out. Then another strain, then another strain. But this is the best kind of population control. They want to find the one that just actually kills everybody.
Well, just when we open up, they're closing everything down again because there's a strain. Then just when we get past that, then they're, then another strain. I mean, is it ever going to end?
Remember when you
Is
were
it?
remember when you're a kid and if you were in the cartoons, they always had some mad scientist somewhere in the lab that's plotting the
Right.
destruction of the world.
Right.
And this is what we got today. I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Oh, the world does not feel like it did in the 90s. It just doesn't
no, it
But
doesn't.
at
it
all.
would, yeah, but I'd
Now,
like
I
see,
to know,
miss
like,
that life. I
yes,
do.
and biblically, it's the end of time speaks of plagues and sickness and stuff like this.
Oh, the
But this was not.
cicadas and
This was not it.
and
This
the
was not what they meant.
tornadoes and the flooding.
This is
Yes,
not.
I
well, and
think
they're
I'm going to
saying
die.
eventually, we'll all get it. Like eventually, we're all going to get it,
They're trying.
Yeah.
which is scary. It's scary to think
But you
about.
might get such a small, mild version. And the weird thing is, the people that I've noticed in my personal
COVID long.
life have been men who have struggled with this disease more than anybody else,
Right.
like really badly, like ventilator badly. Where my sister's mother-in-law died the day before Thanksgiving from it. But when I found out that she got it, I expected it because she smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I figured she would die from it.
Jeez.
Um, Joy said they called it COVID. She had COVID lung. It turns your lungs into cement. Wow, that's scary.
Oh,
That's scary.
no,
If I ever get it, I
that
hope it
means
doesn't affect my lungs.
it must be like pressure on your chest
That's what
constantly.
I've heard. I've heard it's like having someone's that weighs 200 pounds sitting on your chest
No way.
that you can't, take a breath in.
The
That's what
only
I've
thing
heard.
the only thing I guess I can compare it to is I had a pulmonary embolism.
Right.
And I was like, I couldn't even like sing a song. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? I'm like coughing up blood. I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is good. And I just had a baby.
I don't want to catch it because I'm a big baby when I get sick.
Joyce says I couldn't lay down, would smother, and it hurt. Oh my gosh.
I'm
So sorry, Joy. My
like,
husband's
come sleep
lungs,
in.
kidneys, and blood clots.
I don't know what to say to her. I really don't.
Oh, she went through hell.
Mm-hmm.
She went through hell. Thank God she's with us.
Mm-hmm.
We have her with us, but
Yeah,
that's
I
tough.
hope nobody thought I was being disrespectful or anything like that tonight, because that's not what I was trying to say or do. I'm just
No.
saying I'm just saying when it comes to 9/11, like I said, like I believe the majority of what happened. Do I think there are things that
Yeah.
are not told to us? Yes, I do. But I
I'm gonna
think
be
what we saw is what we saw.
I'm gonna be up watching whatever's new about it. But they pretty much shut the whole 911 conspiracy thing down. They don't like it when you talk about it on YouTube. They don't like it when you talk about it anywhere. But I'm gonna be studying it for the next couple
You're
days.
trying to get my channel shut down, Brian.
Well, YouTube does not like it when you talk about it. They don't.
YouTube censors channels.
It
I've
just
noticed that.
it brings me to tears when I see it. It's like opening a wound again. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Joy says 5 weeks of hell, and I watched him from oxygen to life support to heart stopping.
It's
Yeah.
I'm
it's
so
like
sorry, sweetheart.
why won't the government let us have that hydrochloroquine? It's there's so many doctors out there that are saying it
Okay,
basically cures
Brian,
it.
Brian, in my infusions that I get is hydrochloroquine, and I still got it. So
But
it didn't
I
make a
understand that,
difference.
and we've had this discussion before. But you have so many doctors
I
that
do.
are well, I mean, there's so many doctors out here now that are pushing for it and wondering why
Mm.
they won't give it to people. Now, maybe and everybody's metabolism is different,
I'm just saying it may not work for everybody.
right?
It may not work for
Well,
everybody. It
Ginger
worked for
Lock,
me.
you have to admit though, you've been through a plethora of medical issues. You know, you might be an outstanding
Yeah,
case. You know,
I'm the ridiculous issue.
I'm
Yes,
not.
I'm
That's
aware.
not what I mean.
No, that's what I mean. I'm aware. I'm
Well,
aware. I'm not
it's like
dumb.
I've known you for a long time, a few
Yeah.
years now, and
Yeah. For
I've
like,
watched you fight sickness ever since I've known you.
yeah.
So your
It's
metabolism could be a little bit different and not responding to just about anything.
it's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
Do you
No,
think
it's
you were
crazy.
more
Weight's falling
do
off.
you think
It's
you were
not
more
finding me.
susceptible to getting it because of your health issues?
No, because they think
Be-
because I got it already, due to those having those antibodies, it's way
No, I
better.
mean, do you think you were more susceptible to getting it
Oh hell yeah.
because
Oh
Yeah.
of your health
yes,
issues?
yes.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat. I had no vitamins. My hair was falling out every time I touched my head. I mean, I was in a really, really bad condition. Although some people think I'm faking, but you know what? I'll give them the hair if they need it.
We know better.
Oh, who cares what
She
they
always
think?
handles it with grace, so I have to give her that.
You know, I'll give them the hair if they need it because it fell out of my head. And for a
Were you,
long time there, I thought I was going to need a wig. I really did think I was going to need to get a
Oh
wig.
my
I'm
God, they
thinking,
did enjoy. They
when
asked
you,
me if I wanted to save my husband. I was shocked. Of course you'd want to save your husband.
jeez,
Why would they even ask you something like that?
did they ask her? No, I don't want to get too personal. I'm getting personal because I'm wondering
Well,
how
I'm
they
just
asked her.
reading. I'm just
I
reading
think
what
they
they're
meant
saying.
that he was so ill. Do you want us to give him every treatment we can? That's probably what they meant, and they didn't word it right.
Yeah, because like
Well, I
there'll
guess.
be
I don't
times I
know.
get admitted in the hospital and they'll be like, "Do you want us to resuscitate if ever needed?" And I'm like, no, no, not now.
Let me go. When you
Just
were young, did you have these issues too, Ginger Lock?
I
When you
I
were a
had
kid?
I had really bad stomach issues and stuff,
Mhm.
but I they led me to believe it was more in my head. And then I'm realizing, like, okay, no, I'm allergic to gluten. Oh, no, wait, I have gastroparesis. Oh, wait, no more. Now my spine's giving out on me. Oh, and now I broke my back. Life's great. It's awesome.
Sergeant Blackrock says, when I turn 80, I'm going to have my head transplanted to an 18-year-old donor, male's
Oh,
body.
shit. Oh, my
Live
God.
500 years.
I want to do that
Can you
too.
imagine?
We'll do
Can you
that
imagine
now.
if you could do that?
I'll do that now.
I used to
I'll
have
do it
panic.
now.
I used to have really bad panic attacks when I was a kid, and they would always tell me that it was in my head. You know, it's just in your head.
No,
You know?
it's not. It's
No,
really
it's
not.
not. Because
Brian, I can't imagine you having a panic attack.
I used to have them so bad, Carl, that I would just start freaking out and I couldn't breathe and I'd have to go outside and they'd rush me to emergency. You think you're dying?
Yeah,
Isn't that
I've had it.
scary? It's the
I thought-
worst ever
and
to have a panic
they
attack.
take you, and then they take your blood pressure. They'll be like, "You're fine," and you're like, "I can't,
I can't breathe.
And then they're like, "Oh,"
And your heart feels like it's pounding through
They
your
think
chest.
they think you're faking it.
and then they come back. They're like, "Oops, we're 10 minutes late with your shot for your, your benzodiazepine,"
Right.
and they push it through, and then you can breathe again. You're like, really? All that time,
Mhm.
that time, and it's
I got
unbelievable.
to the point.
I've always had to suffer through my panic attacks. I
Yeah,
never went to the
Carl. I
hospital.
got to the point.
Oh,
I got to the point where I learned to deal with panic attacks, and if I felt, you can feel one coming on,
hi, Kanile.
right? So I would just get up, go outside, and have it, and nobody would even know it. That they were so often that I basically learned to control them. And I still am a little anxious
Yeah.
today. I worry about a lot of stuff.
Every once in a while I'll have one again, but my therapist gave me some tricks on how to control them. And
I woke up
I can do it
last
now.
night in an anxiety attack completely, totally completely. And I'm like, all right, I should probably grab my medication. And I went to grab it and I stopped myself. I'm like, you cannot depend on medication to stop it each and every
Right.
time. So I got mad at myself and then I pushed my hand away from it. And then, that's why I got up, I walked around a little bit, and then I
They used
laid
to,
back
yeah.
down.
They used to dope me up so bad, and they would give me the strong meds, Thorazine, a Melloryl.
Mara says, if you could start all over, what would you want to be when you grow up?
If
I
could
want to be a cop.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird? I would want to be a cop. Where did Ginger Locks go? She jumped up. She left us, Brian.
she'll be back.
I would want to be a cop. I would.
I think. Well, I don't know if I'd want to be a cop.
I would. Just for the uniform. I like the uniform.
I think a military.
And the car.
I think a
Driving a
military
car with the
career.
siren on.
A military career. A career in the military.
Here she comes.
Lifelong military. Or
What happened?
I
You
got
left
booted.
us. Oh
Hello.
my God, Samara wants to be Dexter. You know who
Lifelong
Dexter
military.
is? I can't imagine Samara as Dexter. She's so innocent.
She is innocent. She really is.
Yeah, go
I
ahead and
love
piss her off.
Samara.
Go ahead and piss
I
her off. We
do
saw
love
you. I saw
Samara.
you, Ginger Locks. There you go. She's got like the best smile, that one. I can't ever get over her smile.
Yeah, she does. I like that picture she has on her as her avatar. It's like the best. Yeah.
I use it as my Facebook picture, but except I put it in black and white.
How's your Facebook?
I don't hardly
I
use
can't
it.
believe
Yeah,
it.
and that it's I will say it's just got like a light difference. It's not really a filter, so
I
It's
actually,
kind of filter free.
I'm still kind of like godsmacked about what you messaged me about earlier.
You and
Who?
me both, sweetheart. You and me both.
Oh my! Well,
You
I'll tell you
know.
privately, Brian.
Oh, you talking
You
about
and me
me?
both. No,
just
no,
privately.
no,
We can't
no.
say it publicly.
Oh,
Yeah,
just-
no,
Yeah.
I've heard from someone I haven't heard from in a long time.
It just shocked her.
Just put it that way.
Just shocked her.
well, that's
Shocked
all
me
right.
too.
Mhm.
Shocked me.
I was like, wow, hi. What else you doing? You know, hi, how you doing?
Goodness
I know
gracious.
Facebook is weird. Yeah, like I remember.
Blast from the past.
I remember like maybe 5 years ago, I was on Facebook and I hadn't seen this girl since she for a good, let me see, 30 years, maybe, like my first real true love. And I still got her initials on my hand. I promised her I'd never take them off. I've been through 2 marriages with her. And just boom, out of the blue. Is this Brian St. John? You're in Dayton, Ohio? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's, hi, it's so and so. You know, it just popped up after all. And I hadn't even been thinking about it. And it's just so weird that the social media and people can do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and she turned out to be a school teacher, and she, you know, her kids ride. One of them was riding in Lance Armstrong's team and stuff, and she just popped up out of the blue. And I said, "Well, I live here in Dayton, Ohio. I've been to prison a couple
And
times."
see, for me, Facebook keeps me in touch with all my high school friends. So it's like the people who I was friends with in grade school and high school went to Catholic schools. So, you know, we went to 2 different schools. So we've all remained friends and we've all remained very close.
That's
So,
cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but another bad thing about Facebook is you can, the people that you used to know that are gone now.
Another bad thing about Facebook is when you try to call somebody and they never answer their damn phone, Brian.
You know, if I hear it, I'll answer
I'm
it.
like, I know she
I've
ain't
called
talking
him I
about
don't know how
me.
many
I,
times, and he never,
I,
ever
I
answers the call.
know she
Never.
ain't talking about me.
If you call me during the day, because I got a work phone and I've got my personal phone, and I leave my personal phone up on my desk, and so I don't even hear it. Even if I'm out and about. Now I'm out and about more often. We're going.
And by the by, if
Uh,
you put that video out, do put a warning out before
I
you put
should have.
that
I'm
video.
sorry.
Yes, trigger warning,
I was
Brian.
like,
Well, you know,
what
there's a
the
reason.
freak am I seeing?
I put it unlisted and I put it in your guys's in our Discord, right? Because I hear all these people on there going, "You're just a janitor. You're
But
just
I will,
a janitor."
but I will say it's very interesting, kind of gross, but interesting.
That one,
But kind of gross.
that one in particular grossed me out. Yeah, that was
Oh yeah.
I'll
Oh
tell you what,
God.
I could not do that job. There's no
Me
way.
either.
Mm-mm.
No way. Not enough money in the world.
Yeah,
Nope.
I was
Get
telling
fixed,
Nicole,
Brian. Get fixed
I
for the
said,
next time you have to do that. Put it underneath your nostrils. That's what Joe Kenda does.
usually it's not like that. Usually it's clean up
No,
after a
but if
natural
it ever
cause
happened.
and there's not blood.
Did you have to clean it up though? Did you have to clean up the whole crime scene?
What I had to do was for the biochem that was coming in there. What I had to do was sanitize the smell out of it and analyze. And that's what you hear the spray in the video. I had this stuff. I had to sanitize the smell, but fortunately, we didn't have to clean up the blood. They called a bio team in for that because
Thank God.
normally, if someone passes on, we sanitize like that and we remove everything from whatever the scene was. But normally, there's not that much blood. If it was just a little bit of blood, yeah, they would have had it. But that splattered everywhere.
You need to put a trigger warning though if you put that out public, because that's really, that was hard to watch.
And eventually, I'll move up to where that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
all the time. But that's where the money's at.
I mean,
I don't think I can't think I want to do that every day.
but I'm sure there's people that do that. Like that's what they do.
Yeah, like I said, we
crime
literally called in and contracted out another bio team for that blood, for the blood program. Yeah. But then that smell gets that person just happened to be he had been in there for few days, but that smell, it gets all in the furniture and all that stuff that was
You
sitting
know what's really sad about that is looking at the whole place. I mean, his place was neat and tidy, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
that was
okay.
that was an assisted living, small little apartment. But he was military.
No, but I mean, he wasn't homeless. He's living in a place,
No, yeah, he's well to do. He was actually
and it
well
was
to do.
well taken care of. Just like it
Right.
just seemed so sad to me
Mhm.
that he got to that,
He had on a
that point
table.
of his.
He had a table off to the side where he had all of his bills laid out, and he had the cash to pay for all those bills set out. Everything was organized and in order. And I don't know if you saw the wheelchair where they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
he,
saw
he,
that.
yeah, they found him in that wheelchair in the face down, just slumped over in that wheelchair in the bathroom, and they pushed it out of there. But everything else in the house was pretty organized for somebody that was
Yeah, but
disabled.
that's what I noticed. Like when you went through the apartment, I'm like, this guy wasn't
No, you could tell he was
a
military.
messy guy.
You
Like
could tell he was career military,
Yeah.
disabled vet. Everything
Yeah.
was in order.
It's
Everything.
so
was
sad though to
It's
end up
very
like, to live
sad.
your whole
It really
life
is
fight
sad.
fight for your country, and then
And
end
you
up
kill yourself.
end up like that.
Yeah.
It was just really
Sad.
hard. Yeah, very sad, and then hard
Sad.
to look at. My son would have been 40 tomorrow, taking a wreath to his old room. Oh, Joy, that's right. I forgot about that. She lost her son too.
Oh
Wow.
man, she's been through so much.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry about that.
But thankfully she's negative.
Yes,
That's a good thing.
we are so happy
Thankfully.
to have our Joy. I mean, she's not out of the woods. She's still sick, but you know, she'll get through this with the antibiotics for sure.
We're going to pitch in and get Samara a phone that doesn't overheat.
Yes, happy birthday to your son in heaven.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
What,
guys, I think I'm gonna shut down.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
know,
Oh my
tired.
gosh, it's
I'm
been 2
tired
hours.
too.
Well,
I'm
it's cool to
getting
have a
tired.
good conversation.
Yeah, it was a
We
good
started talking about
conversation.
September 11th, and I just watched that documentary, so I had it all fresh in my memory. So I'm like, I gotta talk.
I didn't want.
So-
I almost caught the wrath of Samara, and I didn't want that.
Oh,
I
Samara's
love
a little
Samara. She's
spitfire when
passionate.
she wants to. Yes, she is.
She's
Nice.
passionate. She's
That's why we
passionate.
love her.
She has
That's why
always.
we love her.
Samara has always called me out on my crap, but she's always done it in the
We
most
don't, and
respectful
Somebody
way
needs
ever.
to. Somebody
know.
needs to.
I know, and
We
you
all
know, like
do,
I said, I've been
We
an
all
ass.
call you out. Come on, face it. How
Well,
many
well-
times have we called you out?
You get mad at me.
I do.
You get mad at me. I'm scared of you.
I,
Carl.
people
I
think-
I get upset because I'm the only friend who doesn't have a wrench in his chat, but that's okay, you know.
Wait, really?
I never even noticed
Yeah.
that, Ginger Lark.
I
I never even
Say
noticed.
it.
But
say
no,
hello in here.
you know, Ginger Lark.
Oh, in his chat.
Until
his
here
chat.
recently, I haven't seen people pick at you. You know what I mean? Until here recently, and a lot of, well, I haven't seen it. I know recently you caught some crap.
It don't phase me. It does
Right.
not phase me
So
in
so
the
like,
least.
Yeah, but you have to consider the source when you catch.
well, a lot
Here's
of
Her
the
times,
pajama
thing: people
party. Yes.
people don't know my real life. If they would have
Joy.
pretended and act like
Joy's
they
got
do,
a good idea. Joy's
that?
got a good
What's that?
idea. Did you read that? Pajama
Pajama
party
party
tomorrow
tomorrow.
night. Yes,
but
we're
I was
gonna
going
have
to
a
say,
pajama party tomorrow night.
I was gonna say, Ginger. A lot of times I give wrenches to people who are being picked at, so that they can be in my chat, and nobody can pick at them. They can just get rid of them. So that's probably why you hadn't. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
listen,
no.
she's a wrench in Melissa's chat, so she's like an expert. Get rid of.
Yeah, Marissa has given me a wrench, taken it away, given it to me, taken it away, but she's on a roll with it because I've had a wrench in her chat for about 6.5 months now, and
She's
I-
pretty much staying to her own thing now.
It
She
was
does
it
her
was funny.
true crime.
Somebody contacted me about her the other day, and they're like, "Well, it was at a meet and greet." And I'm like, "Girl, if you think I know what's going on with her meet and greets, I don't know shit."
Yep.
I'm like, I know nothing.
I wish you would come to like Columbus or Cincinnati or something. But yeah, I'd love to meet
Oh,
her. I'd love to meet her once. I bet she smells
she's
good.
she
She's a
does
trip.
smell good. She does smell good.
She is a trip.
But but tell her to wear her New Kids on the Block sneakers.
Nobody can turn me against her. And Marissa has pissed me off quite a bit. A couple different times.
Here's
Nobody can turn me against her.
Marissa can be sharp with the tongue, but here's the thing: I've met Marissa's family. I've met Adrian. I've met her son.
Yeah.
I've met and I see the morals that she instills in her family.
Mhm.
She's no different than the way that I would instill my morals in my family.
I
So
would say,
no, I don't see her as a terrible and horrible person.
nope.
She's never lied to me, never once.
I
Never
don't think
once.
I don't think she's lied to
Where
me.
is she right now? She's not at home, right?
She went to Orlando, didn't
No, she's somewhere.
She's in Florida. She's always all over the place. that
I'll tell you
woman.
what I like
She's
about Marissa.
somewhere.
I tell you what I like about Marissa, and what I like about a lot of people, but in her case, I like her because she's not a fake, phony person. What you see is what you get.
She's not. So what you see is what you get.
She's not. She can be a bitch, and
Oh.
she admits it. She don't care.
Mhm.
I think
Brian, we can all be bitchy.
well,
Oh, hell yeah.
Marissa can go from 0 to bitch faster than anybody, but at
Who,
the same
me?
time, no, Marissa can.
Yeah. Well.
But
Oh
Sarah,
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When she goes off, I've seen her.
If she finds something out, yeah, it can.
Good
it
night,
can get-
Sergeant
it can-
Blackrock.
Yep. I don't think
Thank
she's.
you
Good
for coming.
night. Good night.
She does. She does. Sometimes she does stuff that makes me go, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just did that." But that's her. I'm not. She's not full of surprises. She is not. You know it. But anyway, it's bedtime. Carl,
And
It's
guess what?
bedtime for me too.
It is. It is
yeah.
bedtime. It's way bedtime, and I think it's actually past my husband's.
Thank you
bedtime.
guys
I
for
think he
coming
went
up
to
and for a
sleep.
great conversation.
yeah.
And yeah, maybe we'll have a pajama party tomorrow night. Who knows?
And a good debate without chopping
Yeah.
people's heads off
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
it was
Just
good
not-
all
yeah.
around
Yeah.
good.
A little of this, a little of that.
A little bit of this,
Fun.
and a little bit of that. All right. I'll
All
talk to you later, Carl.
right, Brian. Thanks for coming up.
Bye, Brian. Bye,
Brian, love
Carla.
ya. And that's it. Oh, Mr. Positive, you just came in when I'm signing off. Sorry. Hi and bye. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight. I know it's like kind of a spur of a moment thing, but you know, it is what it is. So you guys have a great night. Good night. Sweet dreams.